Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Smile Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Thandi. Joining us today is a special guest, author of Soya Chunks for Your Success. Joining us is Harjot Guliani. Welcome to the program, Harjot. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Michael. It's been amazing, and I'm blessed and grateful today. And I'm pretty excited to be on your podcast. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Fantastic. Welcome, and it's a pleasure having you on. So tell us,
Thank you.
where are you right now?
So, I'm from India, and right now I am in Punjab, northern part of India, and
Mhm.
my home is there. It's a small town named as Khamano. And right now I'm joining you live from my home office.
Right. So what is it
Yeah.
that you do?
That's a very interesting question. Well, I have been in profession of helping people to become charismatic personalities.
Wow.
And I would like to share one thing with you here. When I say charismatic, it's like sometimes when you speak,
Mm-hmm.
the sense you speak, the way you speak, and people wants to listen to you.
Yep.
That super charming, that with natural confidence. So I am in profession of, and fortunately I am in profession of this since 2015,
Right.
and that's why I help people these days.
So let's talk about that. Okay, so you've been doing this for 5 years. So the motivational education space is pretty big globally.
Mm-hmm.
So how are
Mm-hmm.
you finding it in India?
Absolutely awesome. And I like the word you used, motivation and education.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, if I talk about India, the market is big everywhere, and I believe that it is abundance. Like, if you go, there is someone who needs you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you have to put in the action. It doesn't matter whatever you are doing, it matters what kind of quality you are producing.
Exactly right.
That's it. So, yes, I would say not India. I won't look at it as India, Australia, or Canada. I would say the whole humanity need this.
Absolutely right.
You might have heard, you might have heard Lord Buddha said that ignorance is the cause of all the problems or pains,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, what is that ignorance? That ignorance is we are not able to understand ourselves.
Yeah.
When we start understanding ourselves, that ignorance won't be there. And from where I get that knowledge and understanding, that is my work. So I bring those knowledge and understanding to the students. And let me tell you one thing, it's my mission to reach, connect, and impact 1 million students all across the world by 2025.
So we've got 4 years for that goal, and you've got 1 billion, over 1 billion people in just in your country alone. I think
Uh-huh.
I think you could probably do a bigger impact than a million.
Absolutely. But
1 million's a great
again,
goal. Don't get me wrong. That's a great goal. Um, but I think because you are like for me in Australia, like population of 25 million. Um,
uh-huh.
I think India, you've got a lot of scope. Yeah, around the world, obviously,
Absolutely.
but obviously with India alone, doing a million just in India and then a million across the rest of the world, that's what I'm going to put on you.
Thank you so much. I'll keep a note of that. But yes, and here you have pointed out very important thing in a subtle way. Why I said 1 million, why I
Mm-hmm.
didn't say 5 million, and why I didn't say 100,000 or 10,000 and 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about saying, it's about the believing. And we cannot believe in something more the way we are.
Yeah.
So if we want to achieve more, do more, have more, we have to become more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take that, I'll keep this in my mind that okay, Michael was saying that okay, 1 million, why not 2 million or 3 million? It's how we all work.
Yeah.
We all, I used to say that we all have a limiting beliefs, limiting barriers. It's not that nobody has limiting barrier. It's just how big is your limiting belief. If
Well,
I am thinking about 1 million, that is my limiting belief. The other guy must be thinking about 10 millions.
yeah.
That is his limiting belief. So it doesn't matter if you have a limiting belief or not. If you believe that you are not able to do something or you are able to do something, it matters how big is your limiting belief.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's different ways of looking at limiting beliefs. So for some people, it's, for example, they'll say, 100,000, but they'll think like, if I get to 100,000, like that'll be awesome, But then you'll have some people who say, look, like 100,000, but that's just going to be, you know, the beginning. And then from there,
Uh-huh.
you're going to go further. So the different ways of thinking, I guess some people think like they're happy if they get here, which is a great milestone, But for some people, like their limiting belief is that is the end goal, 100,000. For some people, 100,000 is just the beginning, and from there it's going to go
Absolutely.
10 times more.
That's the beauty
Or,
of being human.
that's right. So I think I think that's one of the big things with goal setting is, like particularly in like I've spent part of my life working in corporate roles, and we had KPIs and key performance indicators. You have to do 2 of these, 3 of these. You have to reach 80%, 70%, and as long as you get to that percentage, then you're doing a good job. But for me, it was always exceeding. Like I don't want to just get a 70 or 80%. I want to aim for the 100, the 100, the 100. Like, I don't want 2 or 3. I want like 5 or 10. So, because once we look at a number, we get fixed on that number, and then if we fall short, it's like, oh well, we'll do it next time. But if we can break through that, and that's what I've always worked towards, is breaking through my KPIs. I don't want to be the one that's there like, oh well, we'll do it next month. I want to be the one that's saying, we've done it 10 months in a row. We're going to do it 10 months more. So
Absolutely.
similar with my personal goals. Same sort of thing. So let's go back to
Absolutely.
before 2015. So 2015, you started this. What were you doing before 2015?
So Michael, that's one of the amazing questions somebody could ask me. 2015, now I know you are a Punjabi guy and you could understand these 3 words. Na akal, na shakal, na hunar. So if I say akal is wisdom, no wisdom, you are not beautiful and you don't have any talent. This was my story. This was my confidence. This is where I was. So I had a Facebook profile. I'm not going to share that Facebook profile, but it's not on my name. I have used it till 2015. And there I have written number of times. Even I was looking at this last night. I want to quit. I want to quit. So I was not talking about I want to quit from a business. I was not talking about I want to quit from study. I was not talking about I want to quit from someone or something. I was talking about I want to quit this life.
Yep.
I seriously wanted to quit because when you don't have any reason, then there is no point. So I was looking for the purpose of my life. What should I do? What could I do? What I am good at? And it was impossible for me to Think about it at that time that somebody could pay me even INR 5,000, 5,000 Indian national rupees for a month.
Mm.
And in 2014, my salary was 4,000 INR. And when I asked, I want 6,000, they said they can't give me 6,000 because I don't deserve that. I was a science graduate at that time. And the beauty is that in 2014, I was a science graduate. In
Yeah.
2020, also, I am a science graduate. Not more or not less.
Yeah.
So this is about all the way back to 2015. And thanks for asking this question.
Yeah. So let's go back to that point. So what was your turning point? Now you said, you didn't want to continue with life. What was going through your mind just before you found your breakthrough and you found what you needed to do or what you needed to change to break out of that?
So this all happens in 2014. I was working in a garment shop where I used to do the random stuff as a helper, and I used to offer tea and coffee to the customers
Mm-hmm.
and take their carry bags till their cars. So this was my job at that time.
Okay.
In 2015, fortunately, I started my career as a trainer. So
Mm.
I was an aptitude trainer. So in India, here we have a test known as CAT and bank PO exams.
Mm-hmm.
So I was appointed as a CAT trainer, or you can say the trainer for bank PO exams. So
Yeah.
it is, you can say, mathematics teacher. That's the simple word for
Yeah.
that.
Okay. That's great.
And it was December 2016 when I was not able to speak in, I was not comfortable speaking in English.
Mm.
Like if I am speaking 10 sentences, I could only say, if you say, how are you? I would say, I am fine. How are you? And you would say, awesome, great, and wonderful. And then I didn't have any question to ask you at that time.
Yeah.
So I was not comfortable speaking in English. And I remember it was December 2016, and I was working with a university at that time. And I have to go to meet principals and directors of schools and colleges to promote the university. Since it was December, so training work was not there.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at them speaking in English, and I couldn't speak. And in December 2016, I have decided that I am not going to die as an aptitude trainer or a math teacher. I'm looking for something else.
Yeah.
So in January 2017, I found out something known as life coaching.
Yeah.
And I started exploring about it, that what is life coaching, what life coaches do. So it fascinates me. I was exposed to the world of personal development, and I got my first coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's an international business coach. His name is Dr. Siri Kumar Vadakappar. Way back in 2017, we met over a phone call, and he became my first coach.
Right.
And the best part was, whenever I used to have a conversation with him, I used to say him that, Siri sir, why don't you coach me like your other clients?
Yeah.
He said, whatever I am speaking to you is a coaching itself.
Coaching. That's right.
He said, whatever I'm speaking to you. So unconsciously, I was learning a lot of things. Consciously, I was not learning. But
Yeah.
in 2018, I started learning it consciously.
Mm-hmm.
And now I am grateful to three persons in this world:
Mm-hmm. Who's that?
Bob Proctor,
Mm-hmm.
Jack Canfield, and Robin Sharma.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the work they are doing, how they are doing their work, their perceptions, their thoughts. And I started studying them through their programs, through their books,
I've
the
done some.
people who know them. So now I believe in their teachings. And wherever I go, I teach the same stuff.
Yeah.
And as you know, my book is also coming, Soya Chunks for Your Success. You mentioned it is that simplified version of the teachings of these three people.
Wow. That'll be
So
amazing.
people Yeah, so people don't have to go to three teachers.
Yeah, I got to one.
They might have to, yeah, here is one. And my job is to simplify.
Yeah.
So in 2019, when I was not writing the book and I was under one limiting belief that who will read the book,
Mhm.
somebody asked me, Harjot, what this book is all about.
Right.
I said, it's all about simplifying the wisdom and making it go viral
Hmm.
so that a 17-year-old can understand what Bob Proctor is saying, what Jack Canfield is saying.
Yep.
And let me tell you one thing. Just 5 days ago, I decided that I am going to meet Jack Canfield. And just 2 days ago, I was with him online sharing my dream with him.
Yep.
So you were talking about those goals, the small goals, the larger goals. So let me show you something here.
Hmm.
So I have a this goal card with me and
Yep.
it is written there. I'm going to read it for you. I am happy and grateful that now my first book, Soya Chunks for Your Success, has reached 100,000 readers across the world, and many people are falling in love with this amazing masterpiece, which is helping them to become unstoppable, unshakable, and super confident. This is what we can do. And if your listeners, if your audience can see this,
Hmm.
then you can do this too also.
Same thing. That's right.
You can definitely do. And that's the difference between being a cat or a horse and a human being. And it is a complete science. It is not a myth.
Oh, definitely. It's about putting the action to paper and as if it's already happened.
Mhm. Absolutely. So just imagine if somebody has written something like this, how that person will be behaving, how that person will be feeling.
Hmm.
And with the feelings and thoughts, what kind of actions that persons will be doing.
That's right.
In the end, action will bring the results, but the quality of action is determined by the quality of your thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
So you started from 2014 to 2020. So this is the whole journey.
So tell us as of today. So how's your journey been up until this point? Like you've got a book, it sounds like you've taken leaps and bounds. Your personality has gone, I'm assuming, from somewhat introverted to a bit more extroverted, although you might have a bit of a
Mm-hmm.
balance. But just, yeah, I guess that's
Uh-huh.
just me, but you tell me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Michael, I'm grateful for my journey. Yes, it is tough to be grateful for your journey in your hard days. But I used to say this, the stories of your hard days are meant to be narrated in your good days.
Mhm.
So if someone is going through hard time, they are creating the story because people would love to know the stories that go like this.
That's right.
And you are from Australia. I have heard somewhere that Australian pick their cricketing team not because how their record, the person's record is. It's from where from where that person reached here. Or after a failure, what was the response to the failure of that person. And I remember very well remember uh, one or two players from your cricket team, that is Michael Bevan and Mike Hussey. They
Mhm.
have a beautiful story, right? So I'm grateful for my journey. Yes, it is tough if you are going through the tough phase, and it is ever expanding.
Mm.
Expansion is the law of life. When you heat the water, it just expands.
Yep.
When you feed the mind, it just expands.
Thanks.
When
Exactly.
you nurture the plant, it just expands.
Mhm.
A baby cannot resist itself from being growing.
It's going to happen. It's
And
inevitable.
if it is not growing, then it will die.
Yep.
So journey is ever expanding, grateful for the journey, and there is something which I have not shared with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now my biggest dream is I'm talking about the work of Bob Proctor, Robin Sharma, Jack Canfield, and if we go back, this all work is coming from two persons, Earl Nightingale and Napoleon Hill,
Mm-hmm.
who had written the Think and Grow Rich. Everybody had read the book, right?
Yep.
So I want to set up an online school where we can provide this education to the students, like 16 to 17-year-old to 27-year-old, in a simplified way, so that they just don't know the information, but they understand the information.
Right.
They could apply it, they could get its benefits. So my goal is to set up this kind of online school, and that school is going to be, I call it as YUPS, YUPS, your personality school. Because the idea is really simple. If anybody wants to do something big in life, they have to become bigger version of themselves.
That's right. So let's go into a bit about how you use your past experience to motivate others. So we've got Jack Canfield, Robin Sharma, Bob Proctor. So you've got teachings from them, but then how do you incorporate your journey, your story? Because I mean, I can see it, but I'm just saying for our viewers, how do you incorporate your story into what you've learned from others to then motivate others?
So I have learned a lot, but still I feel I have not learned a lot. I have seen people who have learned 100 times more than me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just fortunate enough to grab the information and decode the information,
Yeah.
right? And if you talk about my stories, so I have my own set of stories. Even I am speaking to you, we know a story behind it, how we connected,
Yeah.
right? So this is another part of the story. So the story is, I would say, the beauty of the life is if you are creating these kind of stories every moment, and everybody is creating those stories. It's just we are not conscious about it.
Exactly.
We just couldn't consciously think about it, right? So I have my own set of stories, like from where I have started, like till 2016, I
Mm.
was not comfortable speaking in English. In February 2017, I started speaking in English. And you know what was the reason? Because I had to call in Australia, Canada, Europe to find out the schools for life coaching. And then these calls are going to be like, they used to tell me what is life coaching, and I didn't have any option to speak to them in
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
Apart from speaking in English, I didn't have any option. But still 2018, I was not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I used to make words. Even today, sometimes I used to make words to make that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I now consciously, but in 2019 it starting better, and now I am helping others, and I am helping others the same way. Even when I speak about English coaching,
Mm.
Like I help people who are not able to speak in English, but they can understand it, they can read very well, they can write very well, but they are not able to speak.
Mm. There's four elements.
I take it as I take it as a goal.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people ask me, Harjot, what do you do? So I ask them that I help people to achieve their most ambitious goals, and personality is one of them.
Yeah.
So if we can convert every goal and desire, probably I have said it wrong. If we can convert every dream and desire into a tangible goal,
Yeah.
then we can definitely achieve it. So when people come to me for English speaking, I
Mm-hmm.
call it as Angrezi dream.
Yeah.
And I used to tell them that I am going to convert your Angrezi dream into Angrezi goal
Mm-hmm.
so that you can achieve it. Right? So stories are always there. And right now I'm speaking to you, it is one of the story.
Yeah.
I remember in 2017, I was invited for a talk.
Mm-hmm.
I was not invited for a talk. I went to them that I want to become a life coach. I went at that time, I was in Bangalore working with my coach, and he was a business coach, and I wanted to be a student's coach.
Yeah.
He said, Harjot, it's not going to work. I didn't believe in my teacher.
Yeah.
Now, that's not a advisable something, but I didn't believe in him. I went to the college and I asked them that I want to give a 40 minutes talk.
Yeah.
They said, okay. So I was in front of bunch of girls and
Mm-hmm.
I was going from here and there, roaming around the stage. It was not that I was roaming around the stage because I wanted to. It was because I couldn't control myself.
Yeah.
And at the end of 30 minutes, those bunch of girls, 800 girls in an auditorium, were laughing at me.
Yeah.
And the coordinator asked me, Harjot, how many talks you have done earlier? I said, I have done quite a few, but I haven't done anything like 800. I was feeling like depressed. I was feeling like, what should I do? What will I do?
Yeah.
And I couldn't face the stage till October 2018. And when I again witnessed the stage on 20th October 2018, I shared the story of my failure in 2017 in front of those bunch of girls.
Yeah.
And then people come to me, your story was very powerful, but it became powerful because it was coming out from my failure.
Yeah.
In 2017, it was not powerful. It was really disheartening. And why I'm sharing this again and again, because if someone is listening to us right now,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to make a note of it. The story of your bad times are meant to be narrated in your good times.
Absolutely. 100%. But you've done exceptionally well. Like your English is amazing, considering it's only been a few years. Like this is,
Mhm.
yeah, really, really, really good.
Thank you so much. That credit goes to my students with whom I have worked.
Yep.
And if some people are listening to this in India and they are also facing some problems with English,
Mm.
so I would say yes, English is very important. You might have to go through the first interview or first round of interview in English, but then you might not use it in your work.
Yeah.
So it is a gateway to success.
Gateway.
It is not a success.
I think the
And
important.
I used to say,
Mm-hmm.
so I used to say, English is a language. But when people say English is a language, sometimes they couldn't give respect to the English language. So I give equal respect to the English, Hindi, and Punjabi. You
Yeah.
know, these three languages give equal opportunities to me.
Yeah.
These three languages give equal respect to me. These three languages are equal for me You know why? Because when I say that I want to learn something and it is something foreign, my mind is conceiving that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are saying English is just a language, then treat it as a language but with full respect.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Now, I think, I mean, I've had a past working in immigration with students coming from India,
Mhm,
China, and
mhm,
other countries. But,
mhm,
you know, one of the big things I always told them is that you're always going to know your language. Now, if you're coming to Australia, you're going to need English. You need to pass the
mhm,
exams. And this
mhm,
goes back to what I was talking about, you know, exceeding, you know, KPIs and performance levels and everything like that. Uh,
uh-huh,
Telling the students that you don't want to come in and then have to go back because you couldn't meet the English requirement. So you know what? Start now. You know, like you may think that people are looking at you funny because you're speaking English, but you're in a you're in a Punjabi society, and everyone's going to look at you funny because all of a sudden, oh, look at him, he's speaking English. Like, who does he think he is? But
mhm,
the more you practice it, the more you do it. Even when the students come to Australia, I'd always tell them, you're going to be around your friends, you're going to be living together, you're going to be traveling together, studying together. You can always speak Punjabi. Forget that.
absolutely.
Start speaking English to accelerate your development. Well, once you've done that for 6 months, for 12 months, yeah, you're gonna mix and match a little bit, but give more 70-80% focus to English in the beginning. And then once you've got that achievement, then you can switch back and forth, no problem. And it's just gonna make the learning process so much easier in the long run. So
Absolutely.
something, yeah,
And I
definitely.
love it. I love the way you said it's all about accelerating your development. So it's not about development, it's about accelerating that
We're going to
development. If you
develop.
don't want to, yes,
As long as you're
absolutely.
thinking that you're here to learn, you're going to learn. You're going to learn, you know, whatever your subject is, but you're going to learn maybe at a different pace. So someone who, let's put it this way, if you've got someone who's come from a non-English, like, I mean, I know India does speak a lot of English, but I'm just saying as an example, if you have a country speaking,
Mhm,
if you have a person coming from a country that doesn't speak so much English,
mhm,
compared to someone who's
mhm,
born and raised English and they're learning in English, well, the
mhm,
person that's born and raised English is going to probably grasp the concepts a lot quicker and
mhm,
easier and understand, where the non-English speaker is going to have to think a little bit harder, even though they might understand. There might be some certain aspects they may not understand. So that's why accelerating is, coming in, not just, I mean, we're talking about English, forget about English and language, but anything,
mhm.
if you're going to go study,
Absolutely.
if you're going to go study chemistry or, psychology or something, rather than turning up to the first day of class and, you've got your textbooks and, you're ready to start learning. Well, YouTube is a great resource. The internet has everything out there where you can be learning, reading, studying. So when you do turn up to your first class, well, you've already read. I mean, I'm sure you would have, like, someone studying one of those courses would have read a lot anyway, but just putting it in
Mhm.
perspective that it doesn't matter what subject or what topic, you do your research and do your homework, you're better prepared to accelerate. So that's what it all comes down to.
Absolutely. And this is what I teach to my students.
Mm,
Now, we were talking about that ignorance, knowledge, and understanding part earlier when I was talking about the teachings of these three great
that's
people I
right.
know.
Yeah.
So we believe in principle of repetition. Now, what is that? It is like when you read a book, you just read a book. But when you read it number of times, you study that book
Hmm.
and read till the point you understand the information, it becomes studying that information.
That's right.
So we don't used to say that I read in class 6. We say I study in class 6 because we are getting knowledge as well as understanding the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say, what are you doing? I'm reading a book. And if you ask me, what are you doing? If I would be reading a book from 2020, I have started saying it. And I have put this concept in my book also that I am studying the book.
Yeah,
So we have to study.
exactly right. All right, well, we've gone a little bit over time, but let's just finish off on what are some final words that you would have for our listeners?
All right. So my final words are something which I have studied, which I have learned, which I have understood, and which I have applied and tested.
Mm-hmm.
That we all are a spiritual being. We are having an intellect and we work through our body. This is a very great concept. I have put it in my book in very simple words.
Mm-hmm.
So the only difference between a cat and a horse or a human being is that we have a mind. Now think about it, that we all are spiritual beings, so we all are equal.
Mm.
So you might have heard it hundreds of times that you all are equal. You all, but your results are not equal. You know why? Because on spiritual level, we all are equal, but on intellectual level, which tells us what to do, what not to do, what to choose, what not to choose, it is not equal. And it is your responsibility to feed your mind with the right information.
That's right.
And that is something known as personal development, when you started thinking better, feeling better, and doing better. So that's the way. There's a way to live a life you want, and there is a way, and this is the way.
Fantastic. Harjot, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. You're on a great journey. You're on a great path. I look forward to seeing and hearing more from you, and keep that 1 million, 2 million just as milestones, because you're a long way to go.
Thank you so much, Michael. And I'm equally happy and grateful that you have invited me on your podcast. And it's been last 30, 40 minutes, one of the best moments I have ever lived. I used to live best moments every day, but again, this will be counted in those moments. Thank you so much for having me here.
You're welcome. Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that episode with Harjot. We'll see you with a new guest next time.